Hello and welcome to Give Me a Break. I'm Jonathan Carmody. Well, it's at it again. Baltimore County is still in the news, and this time we're paying more taxes to police officers who are sitting in jail doing nothing but getting his money. The officer we're talking about is the officer accused of tax evasion, and yet he's still getting paid when that money should have been used for the kids. So what's the big deal? Here's Chris Paps.
Every single person who made this personnel decision needs to be dragged in front of the school board.
Sean Kennedy with the Maryland Public Policy Institute wants answers regarding what Fox 45 News just uncovered about Edgewood Middle School in Harford County.
This feels like a circus because we're being run around by clowns who are running these schools.
Edgewood Middle is one of Harford County's lowest performing schools, earning 2 out of 5 stars on the Maryland State Report Card. According to the school's website, it has 4 8th grade English teachers, and Project Baltimore has learned one of those teachers is this man.
Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Lawrence T. Smith, and I'm excited to be your child's 8th grade English language arts teacher here at Edgewood Middle School.
Yes, that Lawrence Smith.
Mr. Smith, you pleaded to wire fraud and income tax evasion.
Is this Lawrence Smith?
Sir, why did you steal $215,000?
Smith, for 22 years, was a Baltimore City Schools police officer. In September 2023, he was arrested by the FBI, charged with 15 felony counts involving tax evasion and collecting $215,000 in fraudulent overtime pay.
You were a mentor to many kids in the city. What message do you think this sends to them?
Project Baltimore can now confirm, as Smith was awaiting trial on those charges, he was hired by Harford County Schools as a long-term substitute in December 2024. In August 2025, he was hired as a full-time teacher at Edgewood. Last month, he pled guilty to 2 felonies and faces 25 years in prison. HCPS declined an interview with Fox 45 News to discuss Smith's hiring, but said in a statement that it completed all necessary background checks. At that time, Dr. Smith had not been convicted of a felony or charged with any crimes against children. The district further explained that after Smith pled guilty, he was placed on administrative leave, where he is being paid 100% of his nearly $58,000 salary.
He pled guilty. He admitted that he stole from a school system. So, for another school system to keep paying him is absurd.
According to the Pew Research Center, in 2022, the federal government's conviction rate stood at 99%. Smith was facing 15 felony charges. It was almost certain that he would be convicted. Yet Harford County Schools hired him.
In this community, the dollars don't exist to do everything we want.
That was Harford County Schools Superintendent Dr. Sean Bolson earlier this year, saying his district does not have enough money. It's a theme constantly echoed by other officials, such as County Executive Bob Casserly.
What we have to do is just cut back on other services that we're providing people.
It's truly an honor to be a part of your child's academic journey during this pivotal year.
By hiring Smith, the school system is now losing money, as it pays him while he's on administrative leave, which could last months. But the decision to hire Smith is not just about the money.
What about these kids that only had a teacher for about 7 weeks and now they have a new teacher? It doesn't seem like Harford County thought that through at all.
I'm convinced this was not done in the best interest of these children. There's something fishy about this. It's not a question of giving people a second chance. His chance isn't up yet.
Harford County Schools told Fox 45 Smith is the only employee on administrative leave who's a convicted felon. The district also explained that Smith was an active employee on October 17th when he went to court. In other words, it appears taxpayers in Harford County were paying Smith the moment he pled guilty in Baltimore City to stealing taxpayer dollars. We will stay on this story. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
And we as well will continue to stay on this case. So bottom line, the insanity continues. He's stealing money from Harford County. That money should have been used to help out your child in Harford County, but no. He's stealing that money from the schools. Remember the movie Expelled, where Gary Truman was playing poker and he stole money from the school? He could have been charged with that. Felix had the evidence. He could have taken it to the police right away and then have him arrested. The superintendent would have gotten involved, shown the video and be like, well, weren't you expelled? Yes, for the pranks. But yet the school would have been like, well, let's reinstate you. Blackmail the dean of students. That's just the bottom line. Most will be criminals anyway. He can teach them how to be good at it. How do you be good at it? Well, just fess up. That's what you can do. Fess up. Even then, it would still be a code of silence. When we come back, the Mafia's code of silence. You only break it once. Now there's a tradition to every single mobster who ever snitched on the family. Why is that? Chris Wallace will explain that rule. Next. These parents in Sinton say that they're fed up with these teachers. They were suspended over these allegations that they've abused special education kids in Sinton. Now why is that? Now why would it happen? And why are they coming forward now to tell their story? Stay with us. Teachers abusing special ed kids. The nonverbal autistic ones. It happened in Sinton. In Sinton, parents of nonverbal autistic children in the Sinton ISD are raising concerns about an alleged incident in a special education classroom and the lack of transparency from the district. So think about this. As a parent, would you be astonished that your child was being abused by a special education teacher? I would be surprised. I mean, if I was that teacher, I would fess up and say, yes, I did. But parents you're about to meet say they are concerned and they want transparency and change. Plus, not to have shit being swept under the carpet. Here's how to be.
We noticed that he didn't want to get down to go to school.
This was just one of the differences Araceli Garza noticed in one of her sons.
We noticed that our oldest son did not want to come through the doors. He just looked at us and he just bawled his eyes out.
Garza has two sons who attend Welder Elementary. Both have level 2 autism spectrum disorder and are nonverbal, which their mother says has only made an alleged incident in the classroom more difficult as a parent.
So I told him if my kids could verbally tell me our conversation and the whole case would be a lot different.
According to Garza, in September, her sons were in class when her youngest had his hand smacked by a teacher, who Chris Six will not be identifying, with another alleged incident involving that same teacher raising their hand to her oldest son. However, a review by Driscoll Children's Hospital's child abuse pediatrician found no visible signs of injury on either child.
They wouldn't just tell us like that. I had to keep calling, I had to keep texting, showing up.
But speaking with Garza and other parents who did not wish to be identified, this incident and others are worrying due to a lack of transparency.
Everything's just kind of getting brushed off. I keep emailing the principal, superintendent, and everything, but we want to hear from the big man, and he has yet to get in contact with me, and it's sad that I'm told that he is very aware of me.
Chris Six reached out to the district for comment. In their statement, they say the district continues to engage directly with parents and that they have communicated directly with all parents who have shared concerns with them. The district also responded to safety concerns, saying a security camera will be installed in the classroom once delivered.
The district said in their statement that while a criminal investigation has been closed, the two teachers remain suspended pending an internal investigation. Reporting in Sinton, I'm your neighborhood news reporter Adam Beam for Chris 6 News.
And the thing is, I am also on the spectrum. And just so that happens, you want to abuse somebody? The two teachers were suspended for abusing an autistic child. I am on the spectrum. You want to abuse me? Well, you'd be arrested for assault and battery. Things have got to change. Transparency, we don't need things being swept under the carpet. I'm glad that Sinton ISD is moving forward to installing a camera in the classroom. Good. That's what we need. We need cameras in every classroom. So that we don't have to deal with classroom chaos. In California, teachers are fed up with all the classroom chaos that's going on in one California classroom. There we go. Now the teachers are demanding changes and accountability for all the kids. So take a look at this from CBS News Sacramento.
Madness in Modesto's schools. Teachers say classrooms are being turned upside down with some students.
I mean, just take a look at all these pictures. All these pictures that you see right here, these are the pictures you're seeing of trashy classrooms. Vandalism happening in every classroom that you see. So what in the world is going on? Here's Nina Burns.
That's right, Marley and Steve. Now, teachers say the current discipline policy, which is PBIS, is supposed to reward students for good behavior, but they say it has the opposite effect, and it is currently rewarding students for acting out.
This is typical of our TKK classrooms.
Destroyed classroom after destroyed classroom. That's what Modesto City School District teachers say is a common occurrence.
It's a post-COVID world, if you will.
President of the Modesto Teachers Association, Jennifer McGrath, says the trend in violence and destruction in students peaked after the pandemic, when students came back to a different set of rules.
Coming back to school was not easy, and so the school districts had to do a lot of quick fixes to be able to get these kids to come back to school. We kind of lessened a lot of the requirements for the students. And it doesn't take kids long to figure out that if there's a system, they're going to look for the easiest way out.
PBIS, or Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, is the new norm, instead of what traditionally was suspension.
The children are not learning when they're sent home. They should be in school. And so that's why this practice got put into place. It's an alternative to try to deter behaviors in a positive way.
So when a child destroys a classroom like this, they're sent into the office.
What's been happening is they get counseled, and then they would come back with a bag of chips, or they would come back with a juice box or a prize or something.
Something McGrath says rewards the wrong type of behavior.
So you're reinforcing to the other students, well, bad behavior pays off because that child got a prize.
Bad behavior, an issue many teachers shared during Modesto City Schools' latest meeting.
He has destroyed the classrooms multiple times each day, and he's able to come back to our classrooms where we've had to evacuate our students.
Behaviors like hitting, biting, and twisting fingers of both staff and students or destroying property are being overlooked and given a lighter sentence.
They are scared. Desks get flipped, chairs and objects are thrown, staff and students get punched and kicked, students elope, garbage cans and signs knocked over, bathrooms destroyed, staff and students cussed out.
Issues, McGrath says, were 5 years in the making.
A lot of the norms that used to be in the classrooms as far as just some basic concepts, responsibility, respect, just following the basic rules, they were out the window.
But she's hopeful the school district and staff will start to work towards a solution. In a statement to CBS 13, Modesto City School District says, "We have heard our teachers' concerns about student behavior, and we want our community to know we are listening. Districts across our state and country are facing similar challenges, and we are working together to strengthen support for both students and staff."
Some things have to change so that we can start educating again.
Now, the district will host meetings to figure out how to solve this problem, but one of the ideas the Modesto Teachers Association is going to bring up is bringing back the code of conduct, something they say has fell to the back burner since COVID.
Fell to the back burner. Okay. Common sense alert. Common sense alert. There is a real simple rule that all parents and teachers need to follow, and that is you just don't reward bad behavior. You don't reward bad behavior. Oh, you destroyed a desk? Have a lollipop. Oh, you kicked the teacher in the groin. Here's a juice box. Here's a bag of chips because you punched him in the face. Oh, you call a teacher a bitch. How about a hug? Oh, you called a teacher a whore. Let's give you a high five. Oh, you cussed out your teacher. I'm so proud of you, son. Let's go get some ice cream. Oh, this, that, my, nothing. You don't reward bad behavior. You never reward bad behavior. It's that simple. You're teaching kids that it's okay to hit, punch, spit, call names, and be verbally abusive to their teachers and staff members. Where's the common ground here? It's like, we don't want to deal with it. It's like you counsel the kid, give them a treat, go back to class. No, you give the child detention. You call the parents and let them know what the hell's going on. And you let the parents deal with it. You put them in school suspension, out of school suspension. You give them truancy tickets. You don't reward bad behavior. I mean, let's go back to the meeting. Let's go back to one of those meetings. You don't reward bad behavior. Bad language equals bad behavior. Vandalism is bad behavior. Foul, bad language from children is bad behavior. Bad language.
Violence and destruction in students peaked after the pandemic, when students came back to a different...
We're going back to after the pandemic. Look, it's 2025. It's 2025. We're way past 2020. The pandemic was 5 years ago. It's 2025. We're into the 2025-2026 school year. And that post-pandemic shit should have been buried a long time fucking ago. And now look at these kids. You know, they're destroying property. They're, doing this, and that. Parents are up in arms saying, my child will never do that.
They should be in school.
Positive behavioral interventions and supports is the new norm, instead of what...
Take kids long to figure out that if there's a system to get these...
Students came back to a different set of rules.
Coming back to school was not easy. And so the school districts had to do a lot of quick fixes to be able to get these kids to come back to school. We kind of lessened a lot of the requirements for the students. And it doesn't take kids long to figure out that if there's a system, they're going to look for the easiest way out.
PBIS, or Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, is the new norm, instead of what traditionally was suspension.
The children are not learning when they're sent home. They should be in school. And so that's why this practice got put into place. It's an alternative to try to deter behaviors in a positive way.
So when a child destroys a classroom like this, they're sent into the office.
What's been happening is they get counseled, and then they would come back with a bag of chips, or they would come back with a juice box, or a prize, or something.
You don't reward bad behavior. It's that simple. Oh, you punched a teacher. Here's a bag of chips. You called a teacher a bitch. Here's a juice box. Oh, take a prize out of the prize box. Pick 2 prizes because you called her a whore. I don't like that teacher anyway. You counsel them. You send them to detention. Put them in school suspension. You don't get them prizes. You don't give them toys because you hate the teacher. Because you hate your teacher. Or because you vandalize a classroom. It's that simple, Fix the fucking school system the way it was. We're not in 2020 anymore. We are in 2025. And it's 2025. And, the post-pandemic bullshit should have been buried a long time ago. Give their parents a bill for the damage. Kids pay library fines in school. Why not this? Kids used to get kicked out of school for this and have to go to continuation school. They got to go when I was teaching in high school, and students were horribly disrespectful to restricted classrooms, the cafeteria and the restrooms. The cafeteria and the restrooms, parents always said, well, it must be you because they don't act like that way at home. As soon as scared, they went into wild classrooms, disrespectful teachers because there were no consequences for trashing rooms and endangering talking back to teachers. When there are no consequences for inappropriate behavior, a discipline isn't enforced, is a recipe for disaster, and chaos is inevitable. Parents that fail the children, and now the children are failing at school. Stop blaming COVID. Blame the parents. Exactly. COVID happened 5 years ago. We're not in it's now March 2020. It is November 2025. And you know, pandemic and that COVID pandemic bullshit should have been gone a long time ago. We're not living in 2020. We're living in 2025. Parents, if you don't know how to parent your fucking child, put them up for adoption. Get them to your mom and dad. Put them with their grandparents. Teach them right from wrong. If you don't know how to parent your child, go to parenting classes. You should learn beforehand. A little slap on the butt doesn't do anything but confuse the child. You teach them right from wrong. You put them in timeout. You take them to school. You beat the devil. You take them to school, and it's like, you gotta teach them right from wrong. It's the bottom line, you don't reward bad behavior. Coming up, the Mafia's code of silence. You only break it once. But that tradition is gone, and as Chris Wallace will tell you when we come back, you only break it once. Stay with us. There's a trend going on in organized crime, which means you only break the rule once. But the mob family is just falling apart because John Gotti years ago was in jail. Years ago on this broadcast, we brought you the Diane Sawyer exclusive called about Sammy the Bull Gravano. He was the man who brought down John Gotti. And he was the key to bringing down John Gotti. But now there's others like him who broke that code. But who else was it? You only break it once. It's known as Omani. Here's Chris Wallace. Omerta. Here's Chris Wallace.
This drop of blood symbolizes your birth into a family. We're one until death.
Omerta, the code of silence. This finger mark. That's it. This means everything. If you were to ever disavow the oath, then your blood would be shed like the blood that's being shed now. In effect, if you break the oath that you take, the oath of silence, the oath of loyalty, you die.
Whether in the movies or real life, the mob takes its oath of silence seriously. When word got out a few years ago that this New York gangster had testified against his boss, John Gotti, the family settled the case out of court.
Bang! The gun went off. 38, pretty loud. And Pat's head went like this.
For a quarter century, Nicky the Crow Caramonti helped enforce Omerta. Now wearing a disguise, he told us about his years as a hitman for the mob.
You're on call 24 hours a day. I mean, you never know when they're going to call you to bound somebody.
I want to show you. Because you make it all still sound like a gangster movie. This is the handiwork of these movies. This is what you did.
Yes, I was sitting right next to him when he got it. I tried 17 different times to get him.
I mean, that isn't romantic. That isn't movies.
That's true. That's the way it is. I mean,
that's a bullet in the back of the head.
True.
Caramonti was the right-hand man to one of this country's most violent mob bosses, Nicky Scarfo of Philadelphia. Scarfo's empire extended to the casinos of Atlantic City. Authorities say he raked in $40 million a year. For Caramonti, life in the mob was sweet.
If it's rain, 50 umbrellas come out. If you sneeze, 50 handkerchiefs come out. People can't do enough for you. I mean, you have friends that'll kill for you.
You loved it.
Oh yeah, for sure, I loved it. I miss it. Right now, I miss it. I miss it a lot.
He misses the mob because 5 years ago, he got word Scarfo doubted his loyalty and had ordered his murder. Caramonti went to the FBI and has since testified in 11 trials that brought 52 convictions, including life in prison for Nicky Scarfo.
They move you around a lot.
We met up with Caramonte in a secret location, far from his new home set up by the Witness Protection Program. And he still expressed pain about going to the feds.
To survive, to stay alive. That's the reason I did it.
How did you feel getting up in court and betraying your family?
Terrible. But very, very, very hard. I mean, I had to face him. They used to sit there and look at me and stare at me.
Enterprise was known as the Scarfo family of La Casa Nostra, the state of ours.
The humiliation is I can't explain it. It's just an awful feeling. And,
you turned stupid.
Right. I became a rat. Exactly.
Caramonte is part of a pack of rats that has turned on the mob. In the past decade, 16 official members and dozens of soldiers in mafia crime families have cooperated with the government. And perhaps the most damaging, Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano, John Gotti's number 2 man, who may finally bring him down. This is an actual flyer circulating in New York City, targeting Gravano.
Sammy the Bull. He decided, who right now does the government want? Of course, the government would rather have John Gotti than Sammy the Bull. So he decides he's going to make a deal to go against his partner and boss.
Joe Pistone is a former undercover FBI agent and mobster. For 6 years, he infiltrated New York's underworld and helped send more than 100 mobsters to jail. But he says in the old days, there was honor among thieves.
They believed in the values and the traditions. They would never give up anyone in the family. They're dinosaurs now.
The kind of guy who will sit there and do the hard time.
Do the time.
And shut up.
They're a dying breed.
Chicago, 1929, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. A scene captured in countless gangster movies. Scarface Al Capone engineers a vicious rub-out of a rival gang. During Prohibition, Jewish, Irish, and Italian gangsters fought for control of the lucrative bootlegging trade in the tough towns of the East and Midwest. When the smoke cleared in the early 30s, the Italians were in charge and could draw on a steady stream of wannabe mobsters from Little Italies across the country.
They joined it because it was an honored society. They were men of respect. They had reached the uppermost in their profession of criminals.
Ron Goldstock heads New York's Organized Crime Task Force. He says that over the years, the federal government tried repeatedly to crack down on the mob, but could never break the code of silence.
The government today brought out of hiding the first highly placed Cosa Nostra member ever to break his blood oath and tell all about the vast criminal syndicate.
The first crack in mob loyalty came in 1963. In a series of Senate hearings, Joseph Valachi, a soldier in the New York Mafia, violated omerta.
This is the way I burn if I expose this organization.
But Valachi stood alone when he betrayed the family. Over the next 20 years, only one other mob member cooperated with the government. What finally broke the code of silence? First, effective use of the RICO statute, the federal racketeering law. Prosecutors can now go after an entire mafia family for running a criminal enterprise and can put members away for decades. But tougher law enforcement wouldn't mean a thing if there hadn't also been a change within the mob. A new generation of young recruits, less interested in the old traditions, more interested in the fast buck. They're known as the yuppie mobsters.
We were making a tremendous amount of money at one time, and I had boats, and I had planes, and I had several homes, and...
You had planes?
Yes. We had a Learjet at our disposal.
Michael Francis planned to be a doctor, but decided he could make more money in the mob. At age 24, he was formally initiated into New York's Colombo crime family. Over the next 10 years, he set up a sophisticated scheme to steal gasoline excise taxes. Over the years, how much money did you make for the mob?
It's hard to estimate. I mean, several $1 million. There have been estimates of 80 million.
Nearly home. Who done it? We're looking for a house closer to
lot of money.
Yes, it is.
What you do with all of it?
Spend most of it.
Quiet, please, in the background. Roll sound.
With money to burn, Francis dabbled in the film business, producing 4 minor movies and even appearing in one. He was dubbed the Mafia Prince.
And what is the difference of the yuppie generation of mobsters and the older guys?
I knew a lot of old timers that were content to make their money, put it under the mattress. But the younger guys, such as myself, want to enjoy our life a little bit.
When Francis talks about old timers, he means people like his father, Sonny, the number 2 man in the Colombo family back in the 60s, before he was sent to prison for bank robbery.
Philip served 21 years in the last 25 years.
21 years.
21 years.
Has he ever once bargained with the feds?
Not one time.
Has he ever talked with any prosecutors?
He wouldn't even think of it.
But rotting in jail was the last thing the Mafia Prince would do. Michael Francis was sent to prison in 1986. He struck a deal with the government, and 3 years later went free.
You willing to talk to prosecutors again?
But the door is open. If they want to talk, I'll talk.
Now back in prison after more shady business schemes, he's willing to deal with the government again if it will reunite him with his family. No, not his crime family, his wife and kids.
You don't have any thoughts at all about breaking this blood oath that you took?
No. I don't believe I betrayed my father. I believe that my loyalty to my family has outweighed that. And I think that my father's loyalty to that oath is antiquated, and I think he's misguided.
What does your father think of what you've done?
Like I said, he would never agree with what I've done.
Attorney Robert Simmels represents members of the underworld. He says yuppie mobsters in prison make a kind of cost-benefit analysis.
Money is the key to the way they have operated their whole lives, and power and prestige. And if they can't have it being a member of the mob, then they'd rather get it by being an author and being free from a long-term jail sentence.
In fact, ex-mobsters are now falling all over themselves to cash in on their lives of crime. In just the past few months, Caramandi's Kiss and Tell, Blood and Honor, and Francis's Quitting the Mob have hit bookstores. And look at Henry Hill, first a best-selling book, then a hit movie. This small-time former Brooklyn mobster has set up what amounts to a cottage industry.
You've made a lot of money as an ex-mobster, haven't you?
I've made some money, yes, sir.
There was the book, Wise Guy. What was your cut from that?
A little over $250,000.
There was the movie, Goodfellas.
$500,000.
And now you're talking about a TV series?
Correct.
What kind of money might you make from that?
It depends upon how many episodes it goes.
You make a fortune as a wise guy. Then, when it becomes inconvenient, you flip. And now you're making money telling the story.
I mean, it's a good country, America.
Now that mobsters who turn can not only survive, but thrive, law enforcement officials say the bosses are increasingly vulnerable. That after 60 years, the mob is on its last legs.
The situation in New York is to the point now where no one wants to actually take over, be the boss of a family, because they know they're going to get targeted. What is the cumulative effect of all of this disloyalty?
The infrastructure of the mob is crumbling. In 10 years, the mob is going to be unrecognizable.
The feds say they have got the mob on the rope.
It's never going to die. It's something that just won't die. They're going to nibble the FBI here and there. They're going to do a little damage to individuals, but not to the structure of the mob.
Self-confessed rats like Caramandi think they'll keep living in a kind of limbo, protected by the resources of the federal government, but pursued by an old way of life that still has a hold on them.
As you look back on it, do you feel you did the right thing going to the government?
It's just an awful feeling. Now I got to live in fear all my life, worried about getting whacked, getting shot in the head somewhere. And sometimes I think I was better off if I would have got killed than to live like this.
20 mob bosses and hundreds of mafia foot soldiers have been convicted over the past 10 years, thanks in part to family members who sold out to the government.
Grandma thinks you take 2 cars. I don't take 2 cars, but you know. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. When kids don't go to school, they're participating in very negative behaviors. Negative behaviors that involve crime, which decreases school attendance and increased juvenile delinquency. Now, juvenile is just a strong word to use, but it's a word meaning that if a child's under 18, they're more likely to be a criminal in the future. But today's young criminals are over 12. They're like 13, they're like in the teen years. Can anything be done? Yes. And as you're about to see, it's an old program without the W. Here's Sam Donaldson.
Do you know what the charge against you is, Cece?
Yeah,
What is it?
murder.
And how old are you, Cece?
13.
13-year-old Cedric Green, known as Cece, is one of 4 juveniles charged with murder in the death last September of a British tourist in Florida. 3 of the 4 were first identified as suspects through a program called SHO, S-H-O, which stands for Serious Habitual Offender, a program aimed at cracking down on juveniles that was proven effective a continent away in California.
Society is fed up with what these kids are doing, and they're saying, that's it, lock them up, throw away the key. And that's what we're doing.
About an hour's drive north of Los Angeles, in a fertile agricultural valley, lies one of the safest cities in America, Oxnard, California. Population, 149,000.
Actually, we had a serious crime problem in the 1970s.
David Keith is the senior crime analyst for the Oxnard Police Department.
We found that about 2% of our kids that live in our city, in Oxnard here, committed about 50% of all the felonies committed by the total population of kids here.
In 1983, Oxnard decided to get tough on the troublesome 2% by trying out a Reagan Justice Department program called SHO for Serious Habitual Offender.
I really call it kind of the in-your-face approach.
Chief of Police Harold Hurt says the first step in the SHO program is to encircle the troublemakers.
We get the school records, we look at his parents, his relatives, to see what kind of criminal activity they've been involved in.
You know, our job is to scare all that information up and get it into the system.
Corporal Marty Meyer and his fellow officers hit the street shooting. With cameras, that is.
Get one full length and you're done, bub.
They stop suspicious youths even though they're not certain any crime has been committed and take mugshots. They capture every detail, from style of clothing to identifying marks. This youth had the telltale tattoos of a local Latino gang.
And then the information gets sent back to our crime analysis unit.
2 civilians work full-time putting the data, photos and all, into computers, tracking those juveniles considered most likely to commit a serious crime. They produce a monthly book of case histories for each police officer. But the real payoff comes after a problem juvenile is caught in a serious violation of the law. The next stop is court.
When the kid is standing before that judge, the judge knows this is not the first time he's stolen a car, this is not the first time he's done a burglary, this in fact is the 15th time he's been arrested. He's committed X number of crimes, and you don't have your typical, problem kid here. You've got a career criminal. This happens to be 15.
Oxnard's file on this 16-year-old helped put him in prison for 14 years. He was one of about 30 hardcore juveniles locked up in the 5 years after the program began in 1983. By 1987, violent crime had dropped by 38%, more than double the drop in any other California city. By 1989, rape was down 30%, robbery was down 41%, murder was down 60%. Crime picked up in 1991 when juvenile gangs came into vogue. But Oxnard retooled its SHO program to focus on gangs. And this year, violent crime is dropping once again. But there are really 2 Oxnards to consider here, divided in classic fashion by the town's north-south railroad tracks. One side definitely feels safer because of this program. But the other side says it has to pay the price, which is unfair.
You definitely get treated differently if you're in this neighborhood than if you're across the track.
Deputy Public Defender Christina Briles says here in the Latino neighborhoods, the police stop people randomly without cause and hassle them. And to what end?
I think locking up is just a band-aid effect, because eventually they're going to be out again, back in the community, and we're going to have to deal with them on another basis.
But such worries are decidedly in the minority here. And back across the continent, the murder of a British tourist at this Florida rest stop only increases support for the Serious Habitual Offender program. It turns out Tallahassee has a SHO program modeled after Oxnard, which turned out profiles of potential suspects. leading police to 3 of the 4 youths charged, including 13-year-old Cece Green, who, while pleading innocent to murder, admits to stealing cars, a pastime he says is fun.
I know I shouldn't have done it, but I do it anyway.
Why?
Because I don't think I'm going to get caught.
But when you got caught, what did you think then?
I just was caught. I didn't think nothing. Because I knew what they were going to do.
Was it fun?
Huh?
Was it fun?
It was fun to me.
In days gone by, Cece Green would have been seen as a mixed-up kid who needed more help than punishment. But he is now charged as an adult with first-degree murder, a reflection of a hardening attitude toward juvenile offenders across the country.
If you or I went out and killed somebody today, probably tomorrow we would be called a murderer. And all we're doing is calling these kids what they are. They're serious habitual offenders and they need to be locked up.
Just yesterday, the Florida legislature passed a law which makes it illegal for anyone under 18 to carry or own a gun, except for hunting and marksmanship. As for the Serious Habitual Offender Program, it is spreading across the country. 41 cities and 2 states now have similar programs.
There needs to be more programs. Like we've shown you before, you know, you gotta make sure you help your child. That's all I gotta say. Take another break here. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It is not okay to speed over 100 miles per hour. Take a look at these 3 people. They have gotten their licenses suspended on reckless driving.
140 miles an hour. I am done with all of you. And I'm now taking away each of your privileges to drive. And if I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You will be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every single time that you drive. I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care where you're going. I don't care if you're hauling baby cats to a damn funeral. If I find that you drive for any reason, each of you will be doing a substantial amount of time in jail. Each time you drive, it's an offense in and of itself, punishable by 6 months in jail, and I can stack it. Do you understand? 140 miles.
That was the short version.
Here, if you're hauling baby, you drive.
Look at this.
140 miles an hour. I am done with all of you. And I'm now taking away each of your privileges to drive. And if I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You will be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every single time that you drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care where you're going. I don't care if you're hauling baby cats to a damn funeral. What your excuse is. If I find that you drive for any reason, each of you will be doing a substantial amount of time in jail. Each time you drive, it's an offense in and of itself, punishable by 6 months in jail, and I can stack it. Do you understand? Mr. Vitale, this is your second racing case. I swear to you on everything that's holy, if you get in a car behind the wheel for any reason, there will be HE double hockey sticks to pay. Do you
This
understand?
moment is courtroom gold. The judge isn't just issuing warnings, he's painting a picture of absolute hell if these young men mess up again. You'll face 6 months in jail for every offense, and I'll stack them. Translation, if they get caught driving even once, they could end up behind bars for years. And when he drops the H double hockey sticks line, you can feel the courtroom freeze. This isn't just sentencing, it's a verbal reckoning. Do you think this level of courtroom intensity is justified, or is the judge going too far? Hit the comments, let's debate.
I'm also ordering you not to smoke weed, consume alcohol, and I'm sending you now for a drug test. Do you understand? Tracy, he goes down now. Both of you now, you other two. If I find that you drive for any reason, I will lose my shice, and I'm telling you now, our jails are crowded, but they're not so crowded to have you. And I'm going to tell you another thing. The legislature's made it very easy for district attorneys across the state of Texas to take cars from individuals who continue to do this. I'm surprised, Pavel, did they seize your car, Mr. Vital?
Here's a legal bombshell. In Texas, law enforcement can legally seize your car if it's used in the commission of certain crimes, including illegal racing. And the judge just made it crystal clear. If they keep it up, that's exactly what's going to happen. Civil asset forfeiture laws allow the state to take your vehicle even if you're not convicted. That's right, you don't need a guilty verdict to lose your ride forever. And the judge's tone here, pure fire. I'm surprised they haven't seized your car already, he says, almost daring prosecutors to act. Would losing your car be enough to stop someone from street racing again? Let me know your take below.
I'm very surprised that they haven't done that. And I will be equally surprised if they don't. But get ready. Each of you will come up here, sign this promise to me that you're not going to drive. Heed my warning. You will not get another one. Do you understand? We're going to reset your cases and give you time to work these cases out with your lawyer. Martin, I saw that you were working over there. But at that speed, I don't care where they're going. I don't care what they need to do in life. My only concern is the protection of the highways in Houston. And I'm going to do everything in my power to protect every single person. If you want to race, there are places designated in Houston for you to do it. On the Sam Houston Tollway, on 610, on 59. That's not the proper place. Do you understand? Yes. All right, come on.
And there it is, one of the most intense courtroom warnings we've seen this year. These young defendants walk away without...
They walk away.
It takes a different approach.
They heed the
to see
warning.
possibilities.
Well, let me tell you, you can't be racing on these streets, This isn't a Fast and the Furious. We've done stories like this to where people have been feeling it's the Fast and the Furious. We've seen passenger video cameras.
Do you understand? I don't care what your excuse is. Weed, consume alcohol. I'm surprised, Pavel, did they seize your car, Mr. Vital? I'm very surprised that they haven't done that. And I will be equally surprised if they don't. But get ready. Each of you will come up here, sign this promise to me that you're not going to drive. Heed my warning. You will not get another one. Do you understand? We're going to reset your cases and give you time to work these cases out with your lawyer. Martin, I saw that you were working over there. But at that speed, I don't care where they're going. I don't care what they need to do in life. My only concern is the protection of the highways in Houston. And I'm going to do everything in my power to protect every single person. If you want to race, there are places designated in Houston for you to do it. On the Sam Houston Tollway, on 610, on 59. That's not the proper place. Do you understand? Yes. All right, come on.
So they signed that piece of paper saying that if they do this again, they're going to jail. Did they heed the warning? We won't know. But the thing is, this isn't a Fast and the Furious. This isn't Grand Theft Auto. This is the real deal. If you race, you're going to jail. People have been arrested for this. And jails have been crowded in every county. But, nothing was being done to prevent this from ever happening again. So, here's the common sense theory. Don't ever race. There's places for you to race in Houston. Just don't put yourself in that position to go to jail. Another break. We'll be right back. We go on the internet nowadays, we find some challenges, and we think to ourselves, oh, those would be some good challenges. You ever heard of the Pop the Balloon or Find Love challenge? Take a look at this.
Welcome to Pop the Balloon. Can I have you stand right here? Here are your ladies. First question, what's your name?
Mike.
Mike. Okay. Okay, why'd you pop the balloon?
You look sweet, but I'll pass. I'm off that.
Alright, he'll pass you too.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Back over here. What's your biggest red flag?
What's up, boys? I like going out a lot.
Oh, that's good?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all going out. Alright, why did you pop?
I have a boyfriend. That's why I'm in this.
I'm not even in that. Alright, why'd you?
I have a boyfriend too.
Oh, okay. Why did you pop? I think they're making excuses.
Just not for me.
Not for you. He's not for you either. Alright. Down to the last two. Can I have you guys stand right here?
Yeah.
Do you have a question for him?
If you were to take someone on a date, what would the itinerary look like?
Ooh, I'd say probably go to the beach.
Okay.
Maybe like dinner, something like that.
Oh, you got pop. Why did you pop?
I would not like the beach. I don't like the beach right now.
Okay, well, he's going home single. Just go. Alright.
It's a thing that's going on, so that's the Pop the Balloon challenge, just to where you ask questions and, this Pop the Balloon or just find the love. That's how it is. That's all for this edition of Game Break Wednesday going to Thursday. We'll see you again for Game Break Friday. Follow us here at YouTube and give me a break. Stop bullying, speak out, concentration, not strength. No jaywalking. Good night.